So yes, we have Jake Lamore in the studio with us this morning. You may have heard him on local radio here in Kankakee County, but he's in to talk about Kankakee Podcast. So good morning, Jake. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Josh. Good morning, Jim.
Jake.
Thanks for having me here. I've been listening to the show, and I really enjoy it.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I was enjoying hearing you talk about Chris Curtis and all the things that he has to, kind of take on as he starts his candidacy.
Sure.
So
some good things happening.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Glenn, you're going to be telling the story of all the good things here in Kankakee County.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I really appreciate the support. So yeah, Kankakee Podcast premiering this Monday, and it's simply about the people and places of Kankakee County, and that's both past and present. So just because we all know like how rich our history is here in the Kankakee area, there's just so many cool things have happened here, and I've always been fascinated with hearing about these local history stories and things that used to be here, or different events that happened here, and so I just kind of want to explore those things more, but I also want to focus on the present and what the future is looking like, because I feel like sometimes we reminisce a little too much about the past, as cool as it is. I totally get it. I mean, it's so easy to do because, like I said, there's so many cool things that have happened here, but it can kind of put a shadow a little bit on actually what's happening in the present and moving forward, because as we all know, nothing stays the same. So it's kind of like, well, let's look at what's also happening today, and there's a lot of things that I feel like are happening that I don't even know about, that someone else doesn't even know about, and those are the things I'm hoping to find out about and be able to spread that word around to everybody. So
yeah, that's right. And most definitely, I mean, from my time on the county board, I would explain, hey, do you know what's going on? And we had to hear something in a meeting. They go, no kidding, really? I'm like, yeah. So it's nice to have an avenue that people can go down to learn about this.
Yeah.
What's going on, plus learn about the past. I mean, I didn't grow up here, but I hear things and learn about the history of the area, and it's fascinating. Yes,
it's so fascinating. There's just, I don't know, there's so many cool things. I don't even know. It's hard to pick a point on where to start, but it's going to be interesting to see how it all unfolds.
Sure.
So
where did this idea come from?
I've always, well, not always, but the past couple of years, I've kind of wanted to do this.
Okay.
Because I mean, I've seen some. There have been some other podcasts locally about the area, but I feel like there could be more, and so I thought, well, now's the time to do this, dive into it. I just thought, I'm just going to do this, and also I kind of personally, I wanted to do this myself, just to kind of push my own self out there, just to get more involved in the community and just to learn more about these things, instead of kind of casting a shadow over, oh, well, Kankakee used to be this great place. And it's like, well, no, it still is, and it's growing, and the future is looking brighter than some people realize. Once again, like that whole the past kind of casting a shadow over the present kind of thing.
Yeah, there seems to be at times a negative vibe. People talk about the 50s, the picture of Time magazine, I think it is, on Schuyler.
Yes.
I mean, every community back in the day had their time, but it's still the time. And it's easy to focus on some negatives, and every community takes a little hit to the jaw, but there's still good things going on here. A lot of good people doing good things around the community,
right? Whether
it be charitable, in local government, or just business-wise, and interesting people stories. I mean, we have some characters in this county, that's for sure. I always joke, I go, boy, I mean, you could do a reality show on some of the characters, and it'd be top ratings.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. No, we've all met some real, especially working in media.
Oh, yeah.
You meet all walks of life, you know?
Yeah, especially local government.
Yeah.
In and out.
Yeah, for sure.
We're speaking to Jake Lamore this morning, the creator and host of Kankakee Podcast. So, Jake, who do you have lined up to be featured on the podcast?
So this is you guys are getting the kind of the one-up, the exclusive, because I haven't officially announced this to the public yet. But the
breaking
first
news music.
There you go. The first guest on this coming Monday, the 10th, is going to be Eric Peterson from Project Headspace and Timing, and we already recorded the episode. We sat down a couple weeks ago and just talked about everything he's doing for veterans in the area and just his story, because he's done so many things. I'm sure you're probably aware of Eric. He's probably been on this show. Like, you see Eric everywhere. He's always in the Journal. Like, I think he was just in the Journal again this last week. Like, so I've known Eric for a little while now, vaguely, but I wanted to get to know him more. And he was actually one of the people that helped me set up my little podcast recording area. He helped move some of these big desks in there for me. He just volunteered his time one Saturday afternoon, and I was like, well, it's like, you're definitely going to be the first guest on the podcast now. So he'll be the first episode coming up this Monday. So, and I think people really enjoy it, because it was just a very down-to-earth conversation just about his experience being in the military, but also just the issues that our local veterans here in Kankakee County are facing today.
Sure.
So,
and you've partnered with the local museum as well, right?
Yes. So once a month, the Kankakee County Museum and myself will be putting out an episode of Kankakee Podcast that will focus specifically on something a part of the county's history. So the first episode that's going to be coming up this May is going to be more of just like an introduction to the museum for those that aren't really familiar with it, and what kind of exhibits and artifacts and things that you'll find in the museum. But moving forward, this monthly episode will pinpoint more on like the Roaring 20s in Kankakee County, or maybe we'll talk about Manteno State Hospital, or the list. It goes on.
You have a couple episodes about that.
You really could. Yeah. You really could. So that'll be happening once a month with them. So
all right.
Yeah, looking forward to that. So they've got a lot more resources in the history department, obviously, than I do. So I was really happy when Veronica Featherston reached out and was like, "Hey, you want to work together?" I'm like, yes, please, because you have so many resources that I don't have access to, and it just kind of will help make it a little more, I guess, legit as far as when it comes to more of the history segments on the podcast.
Okay. So when the podcast drops Monday, where can people find it?
Well, they can actually find it now. Okay. It's on all podcast platforms. So all the major ones: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, all the ones that you think of and all the ones you don't think of, because there's tons of podcast platforms out there. But they can also go to KankakeePodcast.com as well if they just want to listen to it on the website and they don't want to go to one of the podcast apps.
Awesome.
So
that's great.
That is.
Yeah, it's nice to have that. I mean, and it's entertainment, and it's informative, but it's educational. I mean, it helps to know where you live, what the story behind certain things, or what's the history behind. You drive by a building, what was that?
Right.
And you're like, and then you find out, you're like, holy cow, I never would have thought that.
Yeah.
Right. It's just like going to downtown Kankakee. You never would think like the Clock Tower Center building. It was once the arcade building, and it was an opera house on Schuyler. Like, you would just.
Yeah,
like,
who would have thought that?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
We had an opera house? What?
Josh is going to start another one.
I am.
Yep.
I didn't know you were an opera.
It's secret.
Yeah, we just keep that on the download. That's part of our. We're going to start. It's one of the things we plan on doing, but we never follow through.
I'm more like the Phantom of the Opera.
Yes.
The Phantom. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that's great, and it's great for people who want to listen, and you learn so much about the people and the community, and it really hits. Not to use the pun, but it hits home.
Yeah. No, it's true. And I'm hoping that's the takeaway from it, is just to focus more on the positive things and just to kind of to help support the positive things that need more support, and even just small business as well. We all know how important it is to support small businesses, and I think our community is more and more getting involved and supporting these small businesses, and that's also something I hope to help more is the small people, and
especially this last year.
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like a lot of small businesses, they don't have storefronts on Schuyler or on the downtown places. Some of them, they're working from their homes, and you may not hear about them. So that's another. And even the ones that have storefronts on, I was talking to someone last night that has a business on Schuyler, and she was telling me, I think a lot of people think we closed, but we're still here, and I was like, wow, that's sad, because it's like I knew they were there. You can't miss them. They're right on Schuyler. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of to help bring more awareness to the people that need it, and bring a little more diversity to the county, more coming together kind of thing.
Yeah, there seems to be, and again, we talk about it quite a bit, the social media aspect of things tend to sway to the negative.
Yes.
And it is what it is, but, there are some very, like we said before, good things going on in this community and good people out there.
Yeah.
And it's nice to hear what their stories are. And,
yeah.
Who they are, where they come from, and what got them to that point where they're doing things that are really making an impact in the community.
Right. And here's the thing, and not to say we don't acknowledge the negative, but there's always going to be bad parts of town, because every town has one.
Well, it's just human. It just happens. And
right.
Go anywhere, you're going to find it.
You're going to find it. Every town, every city has a bad part. Now, that's not to say we shouldn't do something about it.
Yeah.
But it also doesn't mean the whole place is just bad. Just throw it out. It's just like if you got a part of an apple that's bruised, you cut you cut it, and
Yeah, and you find ways to fix it if you can, and maybe these stories can inspire someone in some of those areas. They're doing it there. Why can't I do that here?
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of the idea.
Well, we look forward to it.
Yeah,
and it sounds exciting.
Thank you, Josh. Yeah. Thank you, Jim.
What's the website people can find more information?
KankakeePodcast.com, and you can also find all the different links to the podcast platforms. So, let's say you prefer to listen to podcasts on Amazon, you'll find the link at KankakeePodcast.com to go directly to Amazon Music, or, like I said, Apple, TuneIn, iHeart, all that stuff.
Okay.
So
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. Jake Lamore, creator and host of Kankakee Podcast. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Jim. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. Have a good weekend, sir.
Yeah, you too.